So I wanted to make this video because I've been thinking about a couple of things recently. And I think that sharing those things would be helpful to some people because the things that I have been thinking about have kind of reframed my perspective on how exactly one should live their lives, or just I should live my life more precisely. Um, so one of the things I've been thinking about is, realistically, I don't have to do anything. Like, I could I could choose to drop out of college today, go back home to Dubai, and live the rest of my life with my parents, and I'd be fine. Like, things would be fine. It would be an unfulfilling and a very boring life, but it would still be fine. And I think one what that teaches me is that even though there is something I can do, everything I do, or everything I choose to do, is just that. It's a choice. I'm choosing to study computer science because it's what I want to do. I'm choosing to upload this video because, again, it's what I want to do. Um, and I think reframing things as you don't have to do this thing, but you're choosing to do it. I think taking that approach to anything is just really, really helpful, because when you say that you have to do this thing in order to achieve this thing, like if I say, oh, I have to work out so I don't get unfit, or I have to um, study, otherwise I won't get good grades. When you pose it like that, when you say I have to do this one thing to either get this other thing or to not suffer the consequences of something else, it becomes much more, you just put a lot more pressure on yourself, and it's unnecessary pressure. And yes, you could say, oh yeah, what if I work better under pressure? It's not necessary. You don't want to add stress and add anxiety to your life. When you reframe those things as, you know what, I want to do that. I want to do this because I feel like it's just what I like to do. It's just a much like, you want to play video games. You want to do things that you enjoy doing because it's just that you want to do them because you enjoy them. And when you reframe your mind to think of the things you do as, I want to do those things, rather than, yeah, I have to do it, it's just, it's a lot, like, it makes life a lot easier. It just seems easy to do. It's light and it just flows well, I feel. And I started looking at things that way, and I just feel a lot better about it. Like, when you are more purposeful about the things you do, when you are more conscious about what it is you're doing, you just end up like feeling better about what it is you're doing. Like, some people, like, you might be mindlessly scrolling through your choice of social media application, but um a lot of the times when you do that, you're not conscious about it. Like, you just do it. It's not something that you actively choose to do. So when you're a lot more like purposeful and a lot more conscious about what it is you're doing, it just makes you feel better. And that's one piece of advice I have. Secondly, um, another thing that I've learned recently is that it kind of links to the first point. It's that things will pan out fine. Like, no matter what happens, unless something like gravely tragic were to occur that would lead to like my death or something, or the death of someone that I love, things will be fine. So I could be pondering over the most like trivial thing. Like, I could genuinely have like a breakdown about, like, I don't know, what I want to do after I graduate. And I feel like sometimes when people have those like really, it's not trivial, let's be honest, it kind of decides where your life goes from that point onwards. But the fact of the matter is, like, regardless of what the outcome of that choice is, like, oh, do I want to do this after I graduate, or do I want to do this after I graduate, you will be fine. Like, none of those choices will lead your life to end. Like, yeah, everyone dies. That's kind of the point of life. Um, but none of those choices will change your life for sure. But the fact of the matter is, you will still be living life, and that's something to be grateful for. But it's also something to remember, because I feel like it's something that people don't consider when they make those choices. Like, oh, I'm doing this thing or this thing, but you're alive. This is such a weird tangent to go off of, but like, yeah, just appreciate what you have, and that's pretty much it. I I've also been like thinking about things, but I think it's important to like realize that regardless of what the outcome is, I will end up being fine. And if you perceive that as, oh, maybe I should take life less seriously because things will end up fine, or maybe you think maybe I should take more risks because if things will end up fine, then maybe taking those risks is necessary for me to grow as a person. For me, I think both of those things apply, and that's why I think it's good advice, because if you do the things you want to do, and you do the things that, like, if you feel like there is no like grave consequence, and if you feel like none of them is gonna drastically change your life to the point where it's like you're miserable, I don't see any point why just do the things you want to do, or reframe the things you're currently doing as things you want to do, because there's a reason why you're doing those things. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Hope you guys have a good night or day or whatever it is. Peace.